All right, so let's start this now. This was a suggestion by Daly last Saturday because I was doing a little hemming and hawing. I said, well, I have plenty of minis that I really just need to sit down and process. I need to clip them, maybe give them one last rinse, get them cured, then stuff to paint up and to give away and whatnot too. And but I did bring up in chat. Well, I wouldn't mind also going into spring break here coming up. Is there something else that we can look over? Because we looked into Castles and Crusades. We've looked into Alien RPG with Building Better Worlds. And Daly said, well, there's a really neat system out called Crown and Skull. And he provided a link. And I said, you know what? We have an up-and-coming game studio here, Runehammer. And why not? Let's give them the business, huh, boys? Let's give them the business. And I said, you know what? This seems interesting. Let's look into it. Now, what I did do, I went over to their website, and I will put it up on screen. Also, Daly showed it over in our Discord in your finds. But for any of you hanging out, right up here, well, it doesn't show up as the address here. But in chat, for those of you who are here live, there is an invitation over to our Discord, and you're welcome to join. Although, I don't know what it is, if somehow there's like spring fever and all the Discord bots are going nuts and multiplying. Because I've been in several servers that are just getting inundated with spam bots, art and ad bots, and a lot of thirst traps. So I'm begging you all, please. There are many respectable websites you can go to quench your thirst. Don't click on links by randos on Discord, especially if they say, "Oh, I want to give you a Discord Nitro server boost for free" or whatever, right? If you don't know the person, and even if you do, and you get a "hey" and it's like all lowercase letters, and this person doesn't talk like it, please don't compromise yourself. Yeah, well, it happens. There's those. There's the thirst traps. Another common one that goes around are the Nitro. Like, oh, hey, here, click here for a free Nitro thing. Another one is you get from a friend or something, right? From a friend who's probably been compromised. It says, "I've been working on a new video game. Can you download it and test it and tell me how it is?" Mm-hmm. Right. Well, look, there was this gobbo and a suggestive outfit. Look, that's how they get you. If you want goblins, you can stick here, and I won't spam you all. Okay. Well, anyway, if you want to not download a completely fake video game trial that will compromise your Discord account, then there's the link up to Runehammer's website, runehammer.online/crownskullrpg. Now, as it says up here, well, there's 19 of you watching, and cool, thank you. If we look beyond that, we have not sponsored. So this was suggested by Daly. I've not had these people reach out to me, and what I'm showing off is a PDF that I bought from their store. In fact, it wasn't even just the PDF. You get the PDF and a whole package of stuff if you buy the book, and I just bought the book. The gold book would have been cool, a physical book, but they were out of stock on it, and I said, well, you know what? I'll get the regular book in, maybe I can send that along whenever I receive it as a prize to one of you to get you playing as well. And I have the digital material. Now, in the background, we've been listening to the soundtrack for the game, you know, some atmospheric stuff, suggestive stuff for you all that's also provided. So there's a whole online thing. There's hero tokens for online play, music. There's the hero sheet, the book, and then there's some different overlays and things like that. So you get hooked up digitally, and you can get a physical book as well. I'm not sponsored by them. If the system is awesome, I'll say that it's awesome. If it's crap, then I'll say it's crap. They owe me nothing. I owe them nothing, except an open mind and a fair shake, as I'm very glad to see other people stepping up and realizing ways to tell stories, to motivate others to enter just these awesome worlds of imagination. How's Gabo thirst quenching? I mean, I suppose it depends on the goblin you're looking at. If the goth goblin doesn't do it, I don't know. I've heard some pretty nasty rumors that various ne'er-do-wells have taken the mascots of the channel and done some very Rule 34 things with them, and I for one won't stand for it, which is probably why I'm sitting down right now. So. Needs more lace? Well, we'll see what the final version looks like after Dan finishes rendering the piece. So as you can see here, I have the PDF, form-fillable PDF for the character sheet. I have the book, and if we go over to the site, wait a minute, that's not the site. That's the print that I finished earlier. That's the Goth Goblin. That's the... Oh, here we go, of course. So there we go, runehammer.online. This is where I went to go shopping. So the PDF I'm showing to you all, it's all super official. I bought it with my own money. And you know what? If this group inspires you, then give them the business, boys. And there's also a Crown and Skull character creator online too. So it looks like here at launch, like there's everything for tabletop play, for online play. There's a character creator that we can delve into, and well, let's crack into the book. Let's see what this is offering. What are the themes? What are the mechanics? You know, the fluff, the crunch, the mood, the tone. Is it organized in a coherent fashion? Is it an absolute jumbled, garbage fire? I don't know. And that's the fun. We're gonna jump into it. I've not read this. This is a first look. Gone are the borders. Gone the roads and wayhouses. Ruinmoor stands like a gallows, and the old trees cry tears of blood. Well, if this music doesn't match our opening quote here, this track, remember, this is music that it gets sent to you with the purchase of the book. This is called the Shadow Glades. Well, the name and our opening statement here might be doing a good job of setting our tone. A little glimpse of art. So the book is split: Player's Guide, GM's Guide, Atlas, Dungeons. Oh, there's Ruinmoor. Enemies. So this, it looks like this is an all-in-one book. You get the one book, and there you go. You're good to go. Tables and treasures. Well, it is Wednesday, so we have apparently some froggish equipment and armaments. Welcome to Crown and Skull, a new RPG system and setting created from hundreds of hours of play in several player groups over a 3-year period. My groups are always seeking new ways to play. This book represents a coalescence of our latest and greatest themes, mechanics, monsters, and mapless maps. The system here will prove a significant departure from the deeply ingrained D20 genre that has seen such meteoric growth in recent years. As such, settle in for a brain-tickling ride into new mindsets and methods. If you feel a bit challenged by the player-focused aspect of the system, that means you're in the sweet spot. This may be that long overdue moment you and your group break into new territory. No small amount of inspirational credit must be given to Steve Peterson and his team on Fantasy Hero First Edition, Steve Jackson and the GURPS team, and David Wesley and Dave Arneson and their realms of Braunstein/Blackmore. These creations were my initiation into role-playing, along with many others, and made a formative mark on my young mind. Also, Into the Odds and Cairn must be mentioned for their influences. Veterans of those rules and worlds will see their ghosts flitting here and there in the pages ahead, but in spirit only. No one artifact of those brilliant works can be found here, nor is any compatibility or direct link inferred or included. Special and infinite thanks go to my stalwart players, the Council of Magi, Dirty Jobs, the Cypher Rebellion, and the Immortals. They are the soil in which this game grows. Their patience and incredible roleplay gave rise to many of the dark and hopeful truths in these pages. Settle in with pen and journal, mighty reader, and let me tell you of the days after the Bloodwing War, when nations fell and shadows sharpened. This is the Northholds, and there are few roads here. I've known Brandon, Runehammer, as a friend, a player, and a GM for many years, and we've had some wondrous adventures together. Naturally, when he started telling the Council of Magi about a new game he was working on, we were all stoked and ready to dive in. This was early 2022, and we were already playing weekly online. Thus began, for me, Crown and Skull. When we started playing, the game was far from finished. Details about the world and the game mechanics were being added every session, written and revised as we played. We made and remade our characters with each update, kept the good parts and tossed the bad, all while exploring the Northholds and its dark secrets. This game has sparked the feeling I had when I was a kid, exploring every game I could get my hands on. Both as a CNS player and GM, I got to witness depth and richness grow around us with every game night. Our actions, our choices, our failures became the lore of the setting. Our little invented truths became legends. We all pitched in as the system and the setting were slowly refined into a solid ingot. It has been an amazing ride watching B forge what you now hold in your hands. This book is pretty dense by RPG standards and thick with story. I urge you to soak in this tome like a hot spring high in the mountains. By all means, jump right in and start playing, but remember to breathe the ink from these pages and simply exist here as you roll the dice. Play hard, love deep, and live happy. J.D. Sterling. If ruin has been found, it can only mean that the graves of war are not yet quiet. There's much to do. So here we go. We have our player's guide as the music from Fairfield Abbey plays in the background. Castigear drifted down from the lichen-choked stones, weightless, white robe waving in a centuries-lost breeze. His transparent form was luminous, but waning with each moment. The light of elder days was failing, even in the vapors of a ghost. Without sound, he alighted, holding out a gentle hand to Adelaide. She knew no fear in his presence, no matter what realm he hailed from, living or dead. Castigear was her teacher, her patron, her saint. His presence was like a cool spring on a warm day. Addie, you hang your head so low, what troubles you? The voice was reverberant, distant. The sound was barely a whisper, loud as thunder. Father, I have just had a waking dream. A veil pulled over my eyes on a morning walk. The wandering mist couldn't cool me. I couldn't wake from the flight of it. My feet barely touched the road. It was terrible. You have always had a gift for farsight, Adelaide. The Great One has given you the eyes of an eagle. What do you see? A world in gloom and candlelight. Spiderwebs on hillock heaped, and Runehammer howling with dead wind. The bones of dragons dead and gone, a tree soaked in blood, creaking ropes, lightless water, and sinister laughter in catacombs dim. Your time in the Abbey is coming to an end. We live in an age of learning stone and crumbling rooftops. Leaning stone and crumbling rooftops, and your stout heart is needed. Out there, out on those vanishing roads. Castigear looked out across the Fairfield Hills. The icy summit of Folson's Peak was bright in the early day. Even the gloomy shadow glades had sun-kissed treetops. She didn't want to, but she nodded, acknowledging the truth of Castigear's counsel. She was a student no more. Her vision was all too simple, a thinly hidden view of the subconscious. It was, in a word, fear. This fear she compacted, tucked away in a shadowy corner, watched as Castigear's ethereal form drifted and dissipated like a plume of white butterflies. The sun crested the ridge, sending long angular rays into the valley. The chimneys of Slimshire hosted lazy tendrils of breakfast smoke. Hi, Jacants. I saw the D&D Lego. It looks beautiful, though that price point, yeah, it is a pricey set. I very much agree. I am definitely not going to be getting that Lego set. As much as I liked Legos, I grew up on them. $360 for that set is, to me, the juice is not worth the squeeze. All right, I do like the fiction. I want to start delving into into this concepts and content. Before we dive into the process of imagining an entire world, numerous storylines, possible heroes and villains, game mechanics, character concepts, and how it will all come together, let's get our footing. Whether you're new to tabletop role-playing or a battle-scarred veteran of yesteryear, all good games begin with the same phrase, wouldn't it be cool if? Every day we dream of things we crave, whether it be that first cup of coffee, our last day of finals, slaying at the gym, or finishing a projet. We visualize the outcomes of daily life or set our wills to hard work, and when the magic happens, we imagine other things. We daydream about wide open fields, trackless wilderness, friends clanging mugs in lantern-lit taverns, freedom and exploration, swords flashing, and heroism well earned. For fantasy fans everywhere, this is a daily exercise, dreaming of a world of adventure. If you do this, you're ready to roleplay. If you've roleplayed before and you find yourself dreaming of worlds beyond our own, it's time to get back into the hobby. You, my friend, like me, are ripe with the substance of roleplaying. Concepts. Role-playing concepts are the simple foundation that you'll bring to Crown and Skull. You'll imagine yourself in each scene, your friends emerging from the landscape, your own details adding to a living view of an imaginary universe. All the muscles of reading a great novel will serve you well here, translating words into images and images into emotions. How do you fit into it all? Wouldn't it be cool if it was you in this story? This time it is you. Role playing games have been around in the form we know them today since the late 1960s. There's no need to get too deep into a what is role playing discussion. Just get those daydreams in your head, see yourself on the pages to come, and you'll be ready for anything. The real skill set of role playing is the translation of concepts into playable content. Anyone can imagine themselves slaying a dragon with a silver sword. The art of the gaming hobby is codifying that scene into risks and uncertainties, making a gamble of it all and seeing what happens. That art falls on you, dear reader, whether player or game master, GM. Much of this book portrays a world the North holds. This vast space is our backdrop, but its details are far more than stage setting. The world provides its own invitations, dilemmas, and challenges. Answering those calls is usually what sets things in motion. Players change concepts into content by building mechanically sound and emotionally compelling characters. Heroes, hermits, and explorers all play their part, giving the world life. Before our heroes can do whatever they please, they'll have foes to contend with. The GM will hurl all manner of monsters at you. Is there any way around? Any hope? When is the sword the only choice? To resolve the friction at play here, it's time to roll dice. We can sway the results a bit, but there's no telling what will happen. And then, after the dice have spoken, we'll have to update our scene, change our perspective, take in new circumstances, and press on. How we confront all this together is the content of a great tabletop game. Hail, reader! My name is Hankerin Farinal. Farinale. A mountain dwarf, intellectual, painter, fisherman, brewmaster, cheese connoisseur. I like this man already. Cheese connoisseur and former battle commander. I'll be weighing in on the text here and there, so mind ye my counsel. Well, Hankerin foreign ale. I get it now. Hankerin Farinale. It's nice to meet you. In many RPGs, the game master is an ever deeper source of almost everything at the table besides roleplay and decision making. In combat, this becomes even more apparent as a GM is often thinking for numerous monsters and environmental hazards, making lots of rolls, and even assisting players with their roll targets and hoped for output values. This can lead to a cognitive overload for GMs, but it is considered acceptable as GMs are often the most enthusiastic about the hobby in general. In Crown and Skull, there is an intrinsic call to players. You are now the focus. The term player-facing in the role-playing hobby refers to roles and mechanics that do not require input or answers from the GM. Rather, players need only consult their own sheet and resources, personal and unique to them, to make rolls, attempt actions, attack foes, and determine the output values of their work. Rather than asking, "What's my target on this roll?" the player always knows the answer, rolling in context of their skills and equipment. Just knowing what you're trying to roll is hardly a robust player-facing game, though. Here's where you, dear reader, are called upon to step up as a Crown and Skull player. In this game, there are numerous aspects aimed squarely at you. Let's start with the soft elements. An expert player doesn't just stay focused on the game, expedite turn time, lift up other players, and roleplay with the best of them. Player expertise is also found in a deep comprehension of the mechanics and thematics in the game. This comes with time and attention. Your character will gain knowledge of foes, treasure, magic, politics, geography, and more as they grow. This area is entirely your purview. Your purview. The GM won't remember what you may or may not remember. Finding synergy here. Throughout this book, there are numerous easy-to-miss interconnections. The masterful player finds and exploits these synergies with style and effect, making the most of the many details given. Beyond the soft skills of a player-focused game experience, we have the more mechanical expectations of the system. Since the GM has far fewer roles to make, the player will find themselves... I suppose that should be players. The players will find themselves making a great deal more rolls throughout play. This places the burden of speedy play on the player. Rolling defense to avoid a Formian mandible bite. Be ready, knowing what your target is, where your d20 is hiding, and the like. Knowing the ins and outs of your sheet becomes far more important when you're making 5 times the rolls of the GM. It also means there is seldom a dull moment. Coop, hello, welcome to the Hero Zone. Thank you for joining us. It's one thing to play skillfully within given elements and things from the book. Crown and Skull takes player facing to a whole new level by entrusting players with the construction of new and emergent elements of play by granting hero points. These points can be earned in many ways, and they allow you, the player, to invent spells, equipment, and other progression abilities as play proceeds. Who is the best designer of an RPG? The people playing it. If this level of involvement feels intimidating, you can always play what's written. Go with your gut. Crown and Skull has total trust in the player. The more you explore this book, the more that should become apparent, and I hope offer you new vistas of creativity in your sessions and evolution. Synergy and customized flibbity-jibbity, bah! I've got a silly accent to perfect, a million drawings of my axe to finish, and these chips to eat. I'll use gear, skills, and spells straight out of me tome, thank you very much. Uh-oh. Thank you very much, Coop. The guy I was watching is sick, so I'm here now. Oh, well, whoever you were watching before, Coop, I hope that person gets better. Having gotten over being sick not long ago myself, it's pretty crummy. So, welcome to you, and hopefully we can give you some entertainment. What was that person broadcasting? What was the mood? Or what was it that you were learning or hoping to learn? And hopefully, we here, as we're a workshop-focused channel in role-playing games. Now, most of us have met through D&D, and we can compare the other systems we've explored to it to talk the same language. Though tonight we're looking into a system called Crown and Skull. Crown and Skull takes place in a realm called the Northholds. This vast, diverse landscape is filled with cultures, secrets, and dangers for you to explore. It is a dark time, but thanks to you, there is always hope. The Northholds are recovering from a terrible time of calamity. Some 30 years before present day, the Bloodwing War ravaged the realm. The once unified lands no longer have a king, borders have decayed, wilds are more dangerous than ever. An age of order and ideas has come to an end. With no unifying rule, the Northholds struggle to find new purpose and new direction. An era of adventure. Bloodwing was a colossal green dragon driven mad by a slime entity called the Corruption. Since his rampage of desolation, dragons are widely feared by all but the elves of Dragontooth, and seldom seen. Only the very old remember a time when dragons and mortal folk were allies. A formless evil has been creeping into the world since the fall of Bloodwing. It is not fully understood, but the dreams of mortal folk are darkening. Rumor holds that the Lord of Blood Manor is somehow behind this growing shadow. This is a mysterious figure known as Lord Royce, said by doomsayers to be, quote, he who would drink the world, end quote. Despite all this, good yet has a foothold. 3 once tiny towns are on the rise with renewed ambition. Havens for a new generation of adventurers. Long-standing tyrannies. We're starting into a corroded crown. Yeah, heroes. Despite all this, good yet has a foothold. Okay, so there's that. Long-standing tyrannies are being worn away by courageous defectors. The light challenges the darkness to retreat and asks every soul in the holds, will you choose the crown or the skull? Mr. Bard Creative was building a D&D adventure. Oh, another workshop. Awesome, Coop. I hope that it was enlightening for as long as Mr. Bard was able to broadcast. And we can help you find that creativity and sort of take you on the same adventure we're going on as we're exploring this system. And if you are looking for more workshop stuff, anytime that Mr. Bard or others, if they go off, their stream ends or they raid in, you're always welcome to stop by the Hero Zone. An irrevocable choice. As you grow and explore the North Holds during play, at some point a Lord King or Elder Wizard will offer you access to once forbidden realms of knowledge and power. To make this exciting step in your journey, you will face a choice that can never be undone. You must choose either the crown or the skull. Both paths have secrets and skills to teach. Choose wisely. There are many foes of both sides in the wide world. If you're looking over the Northhold's world map, you may feel a bit lost. Who are we? Where are we and why? Crown and Skull is a bit different from many RPGs in that players can only begin the game in one of 3 possible locations. Your hometown will define the feel and opening events of your game, and nearby areas accessible by foot travel. We have Gardenborough. Now, it hasn't been said here, but I imagine that if you want to substitute pieces and parts for your own world, if you want to stick with the notion, but have it be 3 towns of your making, this is a role-playing game. Go nuts with it and have fun. But let's continue reading with what's written and worry about modifying things later. Oh, cool. All right, so Mr. Bard has publishes those adventures. Probably what on DM's Guild or the like. Well, that's great if you're able to see the creative process, and it's one that's very fruitful as well. We have Gardenborough, Forest Refuge. This town was founded by elves centuries ago as a way station for forest caretakers and foragers. Since then, it has grown to a few hundred residents and many travelers crossing the west. To call this town home, you'll be diving into mysterious forests, a long-standing feud with frogmen, tensions with dwarves, and the mists of the Emerald Narrows. Gardenborough is an elemental place, a pilgrimage for druids and nature folk of the realm. Rivergate, bustling trade city. At the geographic center point of the Northholds is the port city of Rivergate. This central location has made the ruling elite here wealthy, trading with the Stormkeeper dwarves and the abundant farms south of the River Then. Now that Runehammer has gone quiet, though, Rivergate is in crisis. To call this town home, you'll be working for desperate nobles, escorting merchant barges, or exploring the fallen walls of ancient monasteries. Rivergate is the busy hub of mankind with all its intrigue and peril. Slimshire, High Plains Outpost. The coming of the White Bird and the Holy Order has grown this town, once a wide spot on the road to Hackburg, to new heights. Ruling here is Lord Pickens, and times have been good. Such fortune has attracted the destructive attention of goblins from the Shadow Glades, orc raiders from the deep desert, and even the darkly dreaming influence of a mysterious entity generally referred to as the Eye in the Well. To call this town home, you will be confronting vampiric cults, fighting goblin skirmishers, or working to secure allies in the war with the orcs. Oh, off of his own website. Well, as one small businessman to another, I salute Mr. Bard for the creativity and sharing it with the people, and hopefully through that marketplace he can do well for us. Before you choose a hometown and all the thematic elements that come with it, let's get into the rules of play. It's one thing to describe towns, dream up adventures, or roleplay a heroic character. But this is a game, not just a narrative, governed by chance and rules. When dice are being used to create surprising events, govern conflict, or test character ability, you'll be playing the following flow. When a gathering with friends changes tone from chatter to gameplay, the GM will gather attention, set music and lights, ensure all players are ready to go, and begin. Through a series of descriptions, reminders, questions, and confirmations, a great GM will pull everyone back to a specific moment where the story is waiting to continue. The Empire of Frogs is at your doorstep, rallying columns of warriors in the marsh. The Alderman has chosen your company to defend the southern wall, entrusting you with the safety of the mysterious old band called Grimblegums. As the war cry of frog folk is heard, drums in the bog, we see our heroes at the ready. Grimblegums trembles with anticipation for the battle to come. Let's get into it. Once everyone is in the moment, the action kicks in. The great majority of playtime happens in phases, moving from player to player around the table. The GM will call the next phase and ask what you're doing. Descriptions become dice rolls and their hoped-for results. Enemies attack, the scene and terrain may change or escalate, and on it goes. A phase is one moment of action, a shared sliver of time between heroes and enemies. A round is one full set of phases for players and the GM. In the final seconds before the explosion, I bring my blade down on the evil commander. Victory is ours. Transitions and table talk. When a scene is concluded, the story will lurch forward. There will be GM descriptions, montages, player plans, and a short break. Players will be seeking means to rest or upgrade their characters. The GM will be revealing new truths, keeping the danger pressing in, and offer a little quarter for weary warriors. When the transition is complete, a new scene will be set, and it all begins again. As the smoke of battle clears, a new horror arises in the swamp. It's already within a bow shot of the wall. The actions in Phase 1. Great games always include interesting and varied roles for players. All kinds of moments will call for rolling dice in the categories below. A flat roll. To test simple, unmodified luck, the GM may call for a flat roll. The simple roll is made on a d20 rolling at or below the target or opposing roll to succeed. You grab hold of the anchor chain to pull, but a fishman is pulling from below the waves. Let's see who can roll lowest on a d20. A player-declared skill roll. Often during play, you will announce, I will roll my jump skill to leap over this creek, or some equivalent. Roll d20 at or below that skill's listed value to succeed. In some cases, a difficulty penalty will reduce the skill's value. Note that many specialized or athletic actions are simply not possible without a working skill. You strain to bend the bars, but without a muscle skill, you accomplish nothing. Called for defense roll. Enemies do not make attack rolls. When attacked, the GM will ask you to roll defense. Roll at or below this value to avoid injury from the incoming attack. An enemy stat, attack, will act as a penalty to reduce defense rolls. The serpent lashes out at you. The Viper has attack 3, so roll defense with a -3 penalty. Rolling damage in effect. There is no to-hit roll in Crown and Skull. When you attack, you roll damage instantly. This roll can use a wide variety of dice, and the total rolled for damage inflicted. This roll can be reduced by an enemy stat called defense. Yes/no rolls. When important yes/no questions come up, and the GM doesn't have an answer, roll 1d6. 1, 2, 3, no. 4, 5, 6, yes. All other rolls, how long until the boat arrives? How many Hound Masters are there? How tall is the statue? How much armor does this knight have? All kinds of numbers are needed and rolled for in play. Be flexible, ready for anything, and trust the dice, absolutely. Attrition. Sustaining damage from hazards and attacks is part of any RPG. You'll be hit by arrows, knock your head, sustain sword cuts, or drop items when exhausted. Attrition is a term for the reduction of your character's resources when hit by hazards and attacks. Here's how it works. When injured, cross off equipment and or skills. Cross them off. When you're hurt, you'll be losing use of your skills and gear. Crossed off equipment and skills cannot be used until restored or repaired. Roleplay it. Attrition impairs your senses, physical wellness, or equipment beyond use. In some cases, items may be lost permanently, but skills are never permanently lost. A few simple rules govern attrition. Enemies and hazards will hit you in one of 5 ways. Basic attrition, cross off any one equipment or skill. A flesh attrition, randomly select a skill and cross it off. Equipment attrition, randomly select one equipment and cross it off. Destroy attrition, destroy one random equipment and cross off one randomly selected skill. Destroyed equipment is permanently lost. Brutal attrition, cross 1d6 total random equipment and skill. Hi Blue Joy, welcome. All characters are allowed 10 skills and 10 items in their inventory maximum. All small items are counted as a single pouch item. Healing and repair. Upon a successful heal by magic, potion, or first aid, restore one crossed off skill. For damaged equipment, use repair or armorer skill. Destroyed gear will need to be replaced entirely. Rest and recovery. Regain a combined 1d4 of equipment and skills with a night's rest in safety. Additionally, after each scene and play, once safety is found and no enemies or timers are incoming, take a breather. Regain one equipment or skill. Catch your breath, ready to go on. If a hit can't be absorbed by inventory, you take a hit to the heart and will die at the end of the next phase 5 unless healed. Phase? Read on. Phases are a unique aspect of Crown and Skull. They divide time into bite-sized pieces and give player turns order, timing, and details as the scene unfolds. Enemies also use phases to act. The 5 phases. Think of phases as cool moments in an action scene. A collection of these moments is called a round. Which phase a hero takes action is a meaningful choice for timing and strategy. There are no held actions here, as in many RPGs, and your phase is locked for the encounter once chosen, so choose with intent. Generally, players will agree on which phase is best, especially after a few battles inform their decision. What phase a character chooses can be changed, but not mid-combat. Players can also choose the same phase. Track your choice on your character sheet here. Ooh, sorry, if you're just joining me, I'm not the rules for this system are not boring. I scarfed dinner before going live, and so my body is going into blood and energy to digestion mode. When your phase comes up, it's your turn to act. You have 3 options listed below. You can move elsewhere in the scene, about 6 inches table space. A small sidestep move is allowed without using one's phase. Perform an action. Make an attack, use a skill, cast a spell, or perform one discrete action. This takes your entire phase. Hurry. If you need to move and do something in one turn, your haste opens up your defenses with clumsy haste. All enemies in the scene gain +5 attack against you for 1 round. Hurry can only be used for a move plus action combo, not dual action or dual move. Enemy phases. Foes will act in 1 to 3 phases per round. A monster attacking in phases 1, 3, and 5, for example, will keep an entire team of heroes occupied. Anytime enemies and heroes share a phase, heroes go first. The GM call. During play, the GM will keep things cruising along by calling for actions during a phase. Quote, okay, it's now phase 3, who's up? Lucy, that's you. The wolves are coming in fast. What will you do? In the course of their perilous lives, our heroes will need replacement gear, new armor, healing herbs, new skills, magic elixirs, wagons, war horses, hired thugs, bribe funds, beach huts, and court finery to survive and thrive. Crown and Skull uses hero points for players to buy items and upgrade their characters. You'll be using hero points to create and later grow your character. The GM will award hero points after each session, granting more for session MVP or other momentous elements of play. In Crown and Skull, this replaces the heaping of treasure. As such, you'll be looking for a chance to spend these gathered points on new skills, spells, improved equipment, or even an animal companion. There is, however, a key limitation to your spending opportunities. Hero points can only be spent to upgrade a character when resting in a safe place with required facilities or services. At first, this limitation may not seem like much. Resting to regain resources is very common in many RPGs. Simple restoration occurs by the rules on page 12. Spending hero points is a different matter, requiring rest, safety, skilled people, special equipment, training, or technical services to perform. In short, spending hero points is not just rest. It's an active state of character development with more specific requirements than rest and safety. Upgrading or creating new armor may require a forge, anvil, or capable blacksmith. Improving a falconry skill requires meeting with a local expert. Upgrading a magic skill might be achieved by reading from age-old tablets or dusty tomes. This limitation, combined with a life of travel and danger, should make the spending of hero points a milestone moment for any character. Can it be a town? Gods above, let's go! Been sitting on a dozen points for ages. During play, things can get intense. Some rolls are all but impossible. Death can be all too close. Defeat imminent. At times like these, the extremes of the game are your only chance, so know them well. Negotiation. Characters often get themselves into terrible situations of danger and limited time. When this happens, rolls can become prohibitively difficult. This is a time to negotiate with the GM, seeking environmental or strategic elements that can often be the difficulty. Don't be shy. The wall... Uh-oh, we're getting a raid. Orcs! And undead! Welcome to Bagger and Raiders. Yep, orcs indeed, Bane. There you go, Bagger. Shoutouts for you, my friend. We're going over Crown and Skull, an RPG suggested to us by Daly this past Saturday. So don't be shy to negotiate with the GM. Ooh, sorry. The wall isn't climbable? Can I lean one of those desks against it for a boost? Critical success and failure. Extreme successes and failures are called critical or crits. A d20 roll of 1 scores a critical success, and a d20 a critical failure. Critical successes overcome impossible odds, grant extra time, or defy belief. Critical failures cost precious equipment, accelerate destructive environments, or lend advantages to foes. It's a crit! Not only do you leap the creek, your pursuer falls in. Action heroism or astounding play are rewarded by the GM with a hero coin. A hero coin, not to be confused with hero points, can be redeemed to 1, re-roll any roll entirely. 2, maximize the damage or output of an attack or effect. No, I guess I was at. Coins can be freely given between players. A player may only have 1 coin at a time. We need this attack to be a huge... we need this attack to be huge! We're out of options. Here, take my coin. In an effort to overcome or outwit the odds, players may find themselves metagaming. That is, using their overall knowledge of game mechanics to exploit details or loopholes. This has 2 forms, one good, one bad. The good kind of metagaming means players use deep knowledge of items and mechanics to maximize their chances. The bad kind, often called cheesing, employs hard-to-believe or flimsy methods to make things easy or gimp the game. Leaping from a rock to earn... okay, that must be a type covered later. All right. Leaping from a rock to earn a deadly attack? Great. Patting your hero with ham sandwiches to absorb attrition? Not very cool. My fighter has 10 skills, all at value 3. My inventory is mainly free biscuits. I also carry a bag of backup biscuits. Remember, hit points in this game are your equipment and your skills. And the reply to that is just, dude. Oh, goodness, sorry. Sierra says, you say that now, but when you're hungry for a ham sandwich, nothing... But yeah, so this is talking like you have a whole bandolier of ham sandwiches to act as your armor. Tell you what, I'm going to get up. I'm going to go refill my drink. And when we come back, let's pick up where we left off and get into character creation, which, depending on how it's written in the book, we also have our character creator here. We have a form fillable PDF, and their own website here offers a character maker. And I'll link to that in chat right here too. All right, so let's go back. As you all can see, it is and so congratulations, we are moving from winter to spring as the equinox. The equinox was yesterday. And so now there's a little bit more light in the dark, which is thematic to Crown and Skull. All right, I'll be back in a couple minutes, everyone, and let's look at character creation.